What is fat grafting? Fat grafting is taking a person's own body fat, harvesting it, and then transplanting those living cells to the face. We harvest it through a little tiny incision placed on the body wherever somebody's got additional fat that they can spare. We then take those cells and we put them into this special system called Pure Graft, where they get washed in physiologic solution to get rid of all the stuff we don't want to put back in. And then we transplant it by just making a little needle poke, whether on the front of the cheek or temple or wherever it needs to go. And then we take a blunt needle, we call those cannulas. The ones we use are about a millimeter in diameter, so they're really quite small. And we just transplant those cells into the areas of the face that are in need. So fat grafting is primarily useful for helping with shadows. So understand that when the face ages, it kind of ages in three ways. It ages in the ways we think about, which are gravitational, which is things like sagging neck and jowls. It ages in the way that the skin ages, so brown spots, wrinkles, and those sorts of things. But the third way that people don't really necessarily think of is that we get these shadows that happen. And the reason those shadows happen is because we literally get bony skeletal changes as we get older. So our orbit, this bone that encircles our eye, starts off round and pronounced as we're youthful. And then as we get older, it kind of elongates and stretches out, which leads to this volumetric loss in the lower eyelid cheek area. So if you think about that, the cheek lowers, which also causes the lower eyelid to elongate, and you end up with the shadow. You also get volumetric changes elsewhere too. Some people get profound temporal volume loss. Some people get brow volume loss and forehead. We also lose bony volume of the mandible, which is part of the reason why jowling shows up. And so filling in front of that jowl and what's called a prejowl sulcus is another area. So all of those kind of bony, immobile parts of the face, that's really the bread and butter for fat grafting. And again, it's really about just getting rid of shadows. So fat grafting is oftentimes done alone. It's oftentimes done in conjunction with facelifts. We're usually using some IV sedation to do that. It does have some recovery associated with it. So you'd think because there's really no cutting and real surgical involvement in this procedure, it's really just needle pokes and cannulas. But because you're distributing those fat cells in multiple planes and making multiple passes, trying to put small amounts all over the place, it does create some bruising and swelling. You also have to accommodate for a little bit of the loss because you're not going to get all those cells to take. You're going to lose a certain percentage. You have to overfill a little bit. So it does have somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks of kind of visual social recovery time. And even beyond that, little pockets of swelling and things that'll persist. And it takes about 3 months for us to really figure out how much of that fat took or didn't take and what areas did or did not. Usually people are pretty happy with the degree of improvement, but it is really easy in those individuals who didn't quite get as much take as they need to add a little bit more and to bring the volume up to where they're happy with stuff. So that's an overview of fat grafting. Hope that was helpful and educational for you, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.